Coach, you talked after the regional that, it showed you some things that you guys needed to work on. And over the last, 3 or 4 or 5 days or whatever, do you feel that you've got some of that stuff accomplished and you got a couple more days, I guess, to work on it?
For sure. Giovanna set up a great, game plan for us when we got home, just of stuff that we need to work on, and has designed a lot of great practices for us, even with adverse conditions. We got some great work in yesterday and got great work in this morning, going to the gym now. Tomorrow we're going to play, and then Wednesday we'll practice that morning and then go to the golf course. So yeah, I feel like we got a lot of work done here. The interesting thing is we've been living in a monsoon around here, so you get to Arizona, it's going to be a little bit drier. So I think that once we get there, we'll just be prepping for more conditions and speed and rough that we'll see there. But yeah, really thrilled with the way Giovanna has set up a lot of stuff for us to get better at this week.
And then going back to a course that you guys had some success at last year, and you will take some confidence from that from a year ago into this year, won't you?
Yeah, and that's almost been the biggest challenge this week is still reminding them that there's things to do, because I think they feel so confident going there that the memories from last year, even success that we've had in the desert at Longbow, the match we played in January, we've played well every time we've been in the desert. So we've kind of had that little bit tug of war. They come in with a little chippiness edge, not really want to work today, and then we remind them of things we need to work on, and they get in a better mood as practice goes along. But that's just been our only challenge this week, is just a little bit of a reminder.
How do you talk to your girls about, needing to, not just kind of be better than half the field, but, be pretty good? You kind of can't have a bad round.
Well, no, and I think hopefully we're past that with a little bit of maturity and things that we're working on now, that our bad rounds aren't as detrimental as maybe they were the year before. So I think the exciting thing that we talked about ourselves this morning is, Jenny's probably been head and shoulders our number one player, been the most consistent, but really on any given day, any of them could be our number one player. So I think that's the reassuring thing that they have and they trust each other, is that if they have a bad day, that somebody else will be around to pick them up.
I know 2 formats here. They were talking about, there's kind of a pure team aspect to match play. As a coach, do you approach the 2 different formats different ways? Is there one that is more fun? What's kind of that aspect like with a tournament like this?
I think the fun part would be, if you're in match play, you've done something pretty great to get there. So you kind of you're doing what you can to create maybe matchups in your favor, but as you guys saw in the SEC championship, anything can happen with a lead or not a lead. So I think we got to play our tails off to get inside the top 8. It's such a long week. I think that's probably what, once we get there, we get adjusted to conditions. It's just managing their rest. We're late early, so it'll be a quick turnaround from the first round to the second round. So kind of navigating that going in, but really we got to get them to match play, and that requires some pretty good golf, and just knowing that it takes 72 holes to get to that. So I think last year's experience will be really huge to draw on that.
Generally speaking, as a coach, is there one more fun to get to coach?
No, match play is a little bit more nerve-wracking because you just see the ebbs and flows of it. You kind of get lost in the stroke play portion because you got a team that you're watching that if everybody's in their round and a potential counter, you feel pretty good about that. Stroke play can be probably, as a coach, I wouldn't say it's fun. It's a little more nerve-wracking just because everything, you're trying to be the first to 3, and you feel like each match is crucial to get there. So I don't know. It's easy. I would say it's probably less stress for Gio and I with stroke play, because you're just trying to identify a hole location that's tough, or a hole that that doesn't fit our eye as well, and it seems like that goes pretty faster. But match play is it's like a 4-quarter ball game. We just got to be patient with both of them.
Where do you feel like your experience manifested itself in the regional at San Antonio?
Probably started last year with advancing in Vanderbilt. That was we were what were we, a 3 or 4 seed there, and it was interesting to have to watch and root for somebody else not to play well, with Duke missing a couple putts on there. And then I think maybe it was the relief, and then going and just turning it loose. Match play there, I think, was a big thing. Winning a match, playing toe-to-toe with Oregon and Stanford, almost every day. Then you turn around, you go play great at Pebble. We win our home event. You play well in stroke play at East Lake and win a match there. I think it's just everything has built that, they really don't bat an eye. And it's easy that if you were there, you would say, well, the back 9 was easier. I don't really think it was. I think every shot had a premium on it at San Antonio. So, for them to stay patient and really turn it loose on the back nine there, I think it just gives us more confidence.
Is Zoe good to go for this week?
Zoe's great. I think, with Zoe, I think it takes a lot for a young lady to have to be able to swallow their pride and just say, hey, I'm not 100%. Let's give Lana a shot, because everybody felt confident with Lana for the past month and a half, and then Lana to take that and go play well for her team. Zoe just had lost a little confidence, and there it's really hard to get it back. So she kind of had a two-way miss going with more that if her miss is right, she plays really great golf, but when she misses at left a couple times, she just couldn't self-correct. So I think it's very admirable for her, very unselfish to do that, and then for Lana to just stay ready this whole time. And that started really at SECs. We were telling her to be ready at any point. There was a couple times we thought about subbing at SECs and didn't. So I'm proud of both of them. And it's reassuring knowing, and I think maybe to speak to the confidence that the group has, is that they know if somebody really loses their game or struggles, that we've got somebody ready to go. So she'll be fine.
Did you feel confident? Maybe a weird way to say it, but with the round she was having, it seemed kind of interesting when you look at other players with those kind of scores. Like, she didn't have any doubles or triples. It was just like, did it feel like she was a little snake bit in that regard?
Yeah, it was like death by 1,000 stab wounds. And she really wasn't. She didn't seem to have a lot of confidence off the tee, but really wasn't hitting it into penalty areas. She wasn't as sharp, with her iron play, which is really probably her identity, and so that put a lot of pressure on a wedge and putter, which is maybe not her strong suit. So. It just seemed like and for her, she just kept making bogey and bogey and bogey. And so it just the target became really small. If she wasn't hitting it, wasn't very sharp, birdie chances aren't going to be by the dozen. So she's looked great since we got home. She said she had a good practice that morning on Wednesday and then came out and cheered her team on. So Zoe's going to be fine. And I think we can still play great golf with any of the six. So I think that's reassuring for everybody to know.
And speaking of iron play, we were talking to Haley. I know last year y'all had some incredible shots. Zoe, are you expecting more of that? Or?
I am, and it's a funny thing, like Gio set up some really hard drills for them to complete, and one was holding out a bunker shot, and everybody holed out a bunker shot today, and some of them was like, all right, this is my last ball, and then Haley holed one out. So I think if we get in that moment, they feel confident in any shot they're hitting. But the camera seems to bring out the best in them.
With Zoe and it being in another desert climate, similar to, I guess, San Antonio, she's going to walk a little farther away from the cacti?
I hope so. It's funny, if you guys would have interviewed Zoe, she tells us that she's moving to Scottsdale once she graduates. So, Zoe loves the desert. She loves Scottsdale. We'll probably, I don't think we can put her in bubble wrap, but we'll steer away from the cactus. And it seems to be a little further away at Greyhawk than it does at TPC Scottsdale. But we haven't heard much about it since she got back, so I'm assuming it took care of itself.